Hey, today we're going to be taking a look at an Ultra League team that you guys might be able to try out. Submitted from Ampharos, a fellow content creator with Galarian, Weezing, Jellicent, and Shadow Swampert. Alright, getting into the first battle here, we have Weezing on the lead versus Cresselia. Okay, pretty interesting matchup right here. They will have to watch out for the future sight potentially, but having Brutal Swing is some nice coverage. So here comes the first one. I don't imagine this is going to do too much damage as Cresselia in the Ultra League is extremely tanky. Yeah, it's going to take a couple of those in order to take this pool toy down, but we will see a second Brutal Swing now come through. But will we see a swap out maybe to try to catch the charge move? No. Okay, they're going to go ahead and let this go. Is it going to be that future sight? No, it's going to be the Moonblast. That does absolutely nothing in this matchup, as we will now see Cresselia go. You know, it would be sneaky. I think this might just be another... Oh, it is the future sight! Oh, that's what I was going to say! Boom! Oh, so you know what would be sneaky is to throw a Moonblast, then throw a future sight to throw people off. But here, oh, that was absolutely deadly. We're starting off with a banger right here as a Hydro Cannon now comes through, takes out the Cresselia. Next Pokemon coming in is going to be another Swampert. So, okay, you want to come in at an energy disadvantage into a Shadow Swampert, by all means, do it. Here comes the Hydro Cannon. We'll have to see what that final Pokemon is, but it's clearly weak to... Oh, man, it's going to be Obstagoon that comes in right here. Well, this is a good showcase now of what Surf could potentially do in this matchup, as Jellicent with this new season got access to this charge move, and I honestly think it is a solid upgrade. It's nothing crazy added onto it, but it's just enough where this neutral damage is now going to start adding up. Typically, you would have Bubble Beam right here in this situation, or even Ice Beam, but the Surf is just some nice stab damage that you can consistently pump out in matchups like this against Obstagoon. Now, this is still an uphill battle, as Night Slash will be doing... Oh, they decide to go for Obstruct. Oh my goodness, here comes another Surf. So, Swampert is going to obviously have to close this game out. They are at an energy advantage in the mirror fight, so it's going to be about who decides to give up a shield here. And they decide now to swap back out into their own Swampert, able to throw the Hydro Cannon now to force the first shield of this game, and they do get it. So I think if they actually go into double shields here, they should just be able to outpace, because the opponent Swampert won't be able to get to 3 in time by the time... Oh, this is actually still going to be close. They're going to go ahead and let this Hydro Cannon go through. I don't think it's going to be enough to KO. But yeah, this is definitely looking to be a good game here with the Swampert sweep. We might actually see a counter swap back into Jellicent now to catch the next Hydro Cannon. Oh no, they decided to let it go. Obstagoon is going to try to close this game out as they go for Obstruct right here, instead of farming down. That's a very interesting call. I think they could have gotten away with the farm down, but Jellicent now can easily get to 2 Surf, safely shield this next charge move, as it is going to be the Night Slash right here, and then double Surf is definitely going to be able to take it. So a lot of back and forth right there, but ultimately that game started off very hot, right? We had the Galarian Weezing with all those Brutal Swings, and then the Cresselia going for Moonblast, and then the Future Sight, which was amazing to see. All right, good game. Still able to recover. All right, moving to the next one. We have Weezing on the lead versus Ampharos. Okay, interesting matchup right here. Let's see how they both decide to play it out. Both deciding to stay in, and Overheat is going to be the charge move to look out for, but they instead actually just decide to go straight for Brutal Swing right here. This begs the question if they're going to try to swap out now and try to catch the charge move. Nope, they're going to go ahead and probably let this one go through. And we might see a swap on the next one to catch that resisted damage. But it's going to be interesting to see how they go in this matchup. Here comes another Brutal Swing now. Going to be doing a good amount of neutral damage, but nothing too threatening here to the Ampharos. But threatening enough to actually get a shield. And there's the swap out to try to catch the charge move. But we do see a counter swap now into Articuno. Now, Articuno is a big throwback. Back in the early days, I would say 2020, of Ultra League, Articuno was on everyone's team. This thing was a monster back then, and this was a time before Registeel and Galarian Stunfisk, where Articuno was the counter to Giratina Altered back in the day, if you guys remember that. So this is still a pretty good matchup here for Swampert, even though Icy Wind will be landing for neutral damage, and it does lower that attack dramatically. So a Hydro Cannon is really not going to be enough to take it out. It's going to take 2, and Swampert now is going to have to give up a shield in order to get to that, hopefully. Let's see. Here comes the first one. Definitely not going to KO the Articuno, but it matters how much damage is actually going to be coming out right here. Yeah, 2 should be able to do it. They decide instead to counter swap now into Jellicent, drawing back out the Ampharos, who does have energy as they let this next charge move go through. And it is going to be the Thunder Punch. Not too much damage right there, but here comes a second one. Oh my goodness, Jellicent now is forced to shield, and they're going to have to throw a Surf here pretty quickly, because a couple more Volt Switches will be enough for Ampharos to throw that third Thunder Punch. But Surf is now coming through, going to be taking out the Ampharos. Articuno has a bit of energy, and we don't know what that third Pokemon is. It's going to be a Togekiss. Very interesting. So a double flyer back there with an Ampharos lead. Shadow Ball, though, is going to make quick work of the Togekiss, as it does about 50-60% damage right there, and now they can easily get to Surf, and this is the beautiful combination that Jellicent now has access to in the Ultra League. That Shadow Ball Surf combination. Now we will see Articuno farm down, but they still have, and a surrender, they still have the Galarian Weezing and the Swampert. Good game. All right, the next one, Weezing versus Cofagrigus. Okay, let's see how they decide to play this out. Brutal Swing, obviously the charge move of choice here on the Weezing, and with Fairy Wind as a fast move, it can get to it very quickly, and this is what makes Weezing somewhat of a huge threat in the Ultra League because of the potential charge moves that it has access to. Overheat, Brutal Swing, Play Rough being the most typical movesets here, as they do decide to stop that Psychic. I'm guessing that would a near one-shot, and we do see a swap out now into Tapu Fini, an overload on energy there from Galarian Weezing to make sure they have plenty on the back end as Jellicent comes into the Tapu Fini here, looking to soak this Moonblast, as it does do a good amount of neutral damage, but Hex and Shadow Ball are really going to start adding up. And in order for Tapu Fini to win this matchup, they have to land another Moonblast. So the first Shadow Ball will land, and this is an opportunity where they could go for a Surf if they want to. They're going to go ahead and let this go. It is going to be the Surf, so they do survive right there. And now back-to-back Surfs might be the call. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and go for that first Surf. I don't think it's going to be enough to KO, but it might just get a shield. No, it's not enough to KO, but it doesn't get a shield either, as they can fully farm down. We have the Cofagrigus coming back in a Shadow Ball ready to go, as this is going to definitely enforce that first shield of this game. No! Boom! It just... All right! Jeez, choosing violence today. Letting Skuntank trying to sweep, as we will have an Overheat come through right away now against the Skuntank, and a counter swap now into Swampert in the one shield. So this is looking to be a good game, very well played, as the poison jabs are going to be heavily resistant. They just go straight for the Earthquake. Felrose is not messing around today, as it... Okay, it gets shielded. I thought it was going to land. I was ready to boom your earbuds off. But no... Sadly, we will have to wait for another charge move as Crunch does land. And now a Hydro Cannon should be able to take it. They're going to go ahead and shield. I don't think they have enough time to get to the Earthquake, but a Hydro Cannon I think would just be just enough. Maybe they do get to the Earthquake. Nope, they don't, because the opponent surrenders. Should have saw that coming. Good game. All right, the next one, we have Weezing versus Stunfisk here on the lead. Well, Overheat is about to put in some work, and honestly, this whole team does well against Galarian Stunfisk. Granted, you have to watch out for the Earthquake here if you are the Galarian Weezing, but I mean, get into this charge move right here of Overheat. And gets a shield. They can safely swap out now into Jellicent to catch the charge move right here. And even if this is Earthquake, it only does neutral damage. And Jellicent is very tanky here. And the Ultra League can easily tank that charge move. We do see a counter swap now into Giratina Altered, which is perfect because they do have Shadow Ball now. And with only one shield left on the opponent's side, this is going to be putting in a lot of work as they get shield number 2 now. My goodness, can we talk about a Swampert sweep today or what? They're going to go ahead and let this charge move go through. It is just going to be the Dragon Claw, so they'll probably get farmed down. Yeah, they don't get to another Shadow Ball in time. But now we will see the Weezing come in. It's going to take a good amount of damage now from the Giratina Altered before it can get off a couple Brutal Swings here. But ultimately, you don't need that much health on Galarian Weezing in order to have a big impact on this game. Right? You just need to go for a couple Brutal Swings. Looking to be 2. Maybe get an Overheat against Galarian Stunfisk, and we might just see the Swampert sweep. So we're going to go ahead and see that next Shadow Sneak land. This is where you might want to overfarm. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and overfarm and a counter swap back into Galarian Stunfisk. That's a good catch by the opponent as the Brutal Swing doesn't do too much damage. But ultimately, Shadow Swampert is going to come in and show its face to Galarian Stunfisk here and let it know who's the boss as Rock Slide gets shielded. They can easily overload on a ton of energy. Here comes another Rock Slide. They're going to go ahead and let it go through. That wasn't enough for an Earthquake. And now they should be able to get to a Hydro Cannon and an Earthquake in this matchup. Hydro Cannon going to be taking out Galarian Stunfisk. Earthquake for the Giratina Altered. And we just have to see what that third Pokemon is. It is the Giratina Altered that's going to go ahead and come back in. The question is, do you give up a shield here? Yeah, they are going to go ahead and give up a shield on the Dragon Claw. Look to overload a bit on energy. We see a counter swap into Cresselia, and this is where things get very dangerous. Cresselia, if it has the right moveset, actually it only needs Future Sight to win this game, as Earthquake is not enough to KO. They counter swap now into Weezing, trying to get to the Brutal Swing, and they do get to it in time, and Cresselia might just be able to hang on to win this game. If it can fast move down, this is going to be extremely close. No, they decide to throw! Pulling away from the farm down as Grassknot now takes out the Weezing. Swampert has a Hydro Cannon ready to go, and now we have Swampert versus Giratina Altered. I think Swampert's going to take it here with the Hydro Cannon, as the Giratina Altered is low enough. Even though it's a dragon, we have another surrender. Good game. All right, moving to the next one. We have Weezing on the lead versus Lapras. Okay. Let's see how they decide to play this out. Overheat, definitely going to be doing a lot of damage, but a good shield baiting opportunity now with Brutal Swing as well. They're not messing around. Ampharos is just throwing the Overheat right away, as it's going to do a ton of neutral damage. You know what? I expected more. I expected more damage right there than what we got. I am disappointed. Come on, Weezing. Here comes the Shadow Ball now versus Giratina Altered, and this is what's beautiful about a Jellicent safe swap, is you can put a lot of pressure on anything that comes in. I mean, obviously an Umbreon would be a potential better answer from the meta that we do see, but still, you have that neutral damage with Surf, and in a situation against Giratina Altered, they have to fear the Shadow Ball, right? So they're going to go ahead and let this next charge move go through. And a good opportunity here for the Weezing would be to get a second shield if they can from the Giratina Altered. They do get a second shield, and now it's going to be a race. Can they get to a third Shadow Ball in time? Yes, they can! Jellicent hangs on with 1 HP in a dream, but is it going to be enough to one-shot? Of course. No, it wasn't! Oh, man. They're going to come in with the Weezing right away and try to Fairy Wind down before the opponent can throw the charge move, but the opponent's reflexes were too fast as they get a Shadow Sneak through. Lapras now going to be coming back in, and this is now a good opportunity for the Weezing to land one more Overheat, and then we might just see the Swampert sweep once again. Here we go. No, another Surf does come through. This Lapras was loaded on energy. They're going to be forced to shield now. We might see a swap by the opponent to try to catch the charge move. Overloading dramatically on energy as they go for the Overheat now. I still don't think this is enough to take it out. Barely. We have a Toxicroak come in. This is looking to be a good game as they can go for the Earthquake. Unless this Toxicroak has Dynamic Punch. Hold the phone. Is it going to be Dynamic Punch? No, it's just going to be a Mud Bomb. Swampert is going to take this one with a boom, as Earthquake is going to be an overkill right here against the Toxicroak. Boom! Down it goes. Good game. All right, moving to the next one. We have Weezing on the lead versus Jellicent. Okay, pretty decent matchup right here for the Weezing, as they can do super effective damage with that Brutal Swing. But again, it's not the hardest hitting charge move, so Jellicent doesn't necessarily need to shield early. So here comes the first one. They decide not to shield. Okay, perfect. They should be able to get another one off right here just in time, and this is where shields might be forced from the opponent. Otherwise, we're probably going to see a no shield and a swap out after this charge move, because they're not going to win the race to the next one. Let's see how this plays out. It is going to be the Shadow Ball. It does land, and no swap out. It's going to be a race. They do get to the Brutal Swing in time, now forcing a hard decision on the opponent's side. Do you let it go through and come in and farm, or do you shield? And we do see the shield. So now they're going to come in with their own Jellicent and fully farm down, but they have to respect the Shadow Ball coming through. And if you were wondering, there is no difference between the male and the female Jellicent. They are both exactly the same in terms of stats. I've seen that question a lot. It's just a visual difference right there, right? They're both the same Pokemon. So here we go. We have the Gliscor now coming through with Night Slash, but thankfully Surf, this is so beautiful. Surf in this situation is such a good play, as it can do super effective damage, nearly taking out the Gliscor, and they can easily absorb another Night Slash right here, as it won't be enough to KO, and Jellicent coming on the back end with a lot of energy now. The opponent's Jellicent is extremely low, so we're going to see Pokemon number 3. No, we're not. We're going to move into the next game. All right. We got Weezing on the lead versus Swampert. Okay, Kind of tough one right here. We will see a swap out right away into the Jellicent, get ahead on energy, and in comes an Obstagoon. Again, having Surf for that neutral damage and a really good farming opportunity if they soft lose this mid game for that Galarian Weezing and Fairy Wind on the back end right here, because even an Overheat against Swampert is going to do a lot. We will see another Obstruct. Defense is risen right there, as Surfs now aren't going to be doing as much damage, but ultimately, if this Obstagoon has Night Slash and Obstruct, it's not going to do any damage to the Galarian Weezing, which means it's just going to get that much more energy on the farm down, as we do see the first Night Slash land, and an attack boost! Oh, man! The opponent might just shield this charge move now. No, they decide to let it go. Obstagoon getting a bit out of control right here, as they do get to another Surf in time, but not before the charge move, so they gotta let it go and pray for an Obstruct. No, it is going to be the Night Slash. This is where Weezing comes in. You got to come in right away and farm as much as you can. You know you resist all these charge moves, and that Fairy Wind energy is going to be so crucial. They decide to go for another Obstruct, allowing you to get more energy. Take the 100 energy. This is free. This is free territory right here, as the Obstagoon is doing nothing to the... Actually, it got it below 50% HP. It's forced to now throw a charge move because it's boosted out of its mind. Did it just get another attack boost? Was that 3 defense boosts and 2 attack boosts? That's kind of insane. But here comes a Brutal Swing now versus Swampert. And we will see a counter swap right away into their own Swampert to get 100 on energy. But unfortunately for Zerfelros here, the Hydro Cannon is going to be forcing a shield, as the opponent now not swapping out is going to be this is going to be a close one. The Pokemon in the back must be weak to Swampert if they're not swapping out just yet. Yeah, they're going to force the shield. Something in the back is weak. Is it going to be something like Registeel or Galarian Stunfisk, which means we might have our Overheat boom in the end game? Let's find out. A counter swap. It's a Zapdos. All right, I was not expecting the Galarian Zapdos right here, as Hydro Cannon is going to be landing for a ton of damage, and they don't get to another one in time, and this... Oh, Zerfelros decides to surrender. All right, good game. Moving to the next one. We have Weezing versus Jellicent on the lead. So pretty good matchup right here with that Brutal Swing, but obviously we got to be respecting the Shadow Ball and Surf like we've seen Zerfelros' Jellicent put in today in these battles. But here comes the first Brutal Swing. They decide to no-shield it. Again, like we saw before in a matchup very similar to this, it's typical to shield the one that's going to KO, not necessarily the first move of the game. But unfortunately for Zeri, he's forced to shield right there, and we do see a swap now into Nidoqueen, which we haven't seen in a while. But ultimately, Nidoqueen right here can put a lot of pressure with an Earth Power, and they decide to let it go! And it is going to land. All right, that did less damage than I thought, but still, that's a good amount. Swampert can still hang on, though, and go for a Hydro Cannon here. Now looking to force a shield or knock out this Nidoqueen. And knockout, it didn't... Okay, it farmed down. That's fine. A little bit of energy on the back end, but they do have an Earthquake ready to go, and this now needs to be respected by Jellicent, as it can do so much neutral damage, and they decide to shield, rightfully so. Hopefully you can get to a Hydro Cannon in time. Yes, they do. Beautiful right here, as this is going to do some really nice needed chip damage. And now... we're going to see the Brutal Swing be thrown right away, and this is such a tough situation. Jellicent has the energy, but only 1 shield remaining, and they're forced to shield. And unfortunately, oh, if he was able to get that Brutal Swing off, that would have forced CMP tie, and I think they would have won that, as Surf now gets shielded. And here comes what is likely going to be a Shadow Ball right here. And it does land for a ton of neutral damage. But we do see a Scrafty in the back, and an Overheat going to be coming through for a ton of damage. Oh, you love to see it. And a counter swap now into Jellicent. You may be thinking, whoa, 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 whoa. Jellicent coming into Scrafty with Foul Play? Well, if you think about it, Scrafty's Foul Play is not going to be one-shotting right here. And it doesn't even do 50%. So Jellicent is looking very strong, as counters are heavily resisted. Surf does neutral damage. And this is looking to be a good game, very well played, as the next Foul Play is not going to be enough to KO, and they might just be able to Hex down. It's going to be risky. I think the opponent left the game. Nope, they came back in. They let him farm down. Okay. Anyways, that's going to be a good game, as Shadow Ball does land with 1 HP in a Dream. Good game. All right. Moving into the next one, we have Weezing versus Charizard on the lead. All right. Let's see how they both decide to play this out. Actually, we're going to see a swap right away into Jellicent to get ahead on energy. And we will see a counter swap back into Obstagoon. A tale as old as time, as we will see Jellicent versus the Beast right here. The Obstagoon. I'm guessing this is going to be an Obstruct. I could be completely wrong, but let's find out. Nope, it's going to be the Night Slash variant. All right, no boost just yet. We saw a terrifying Obstagoon in a previous battle with two attack boosts and 3 defense boosts. So let's see if this one can pull off anything. But ultimately, Jellicent now looking to land Surf number 3 in this matchup, as it doesn't force a shield at all just yet. Again, in these kind of situations when the fast moves aren't doing any damage, the charge move that is going to KO is typically the one that is looking to get shielded. They never really shield early. So here comes the Surf. This is where a shield might just be forced now in this matchup. And no, Obstagoon decides to let it go. All right, so we're going to see that Charizard come back in. Yeah, looking to wing attack down, but I don't think it's going to make it in time, as they can get to the Surf right here. Looking to force the first shield finally of this game. And now we have Swampert aligned to Charizard. Charizard is ahead on energy, so you got to be careful about that. But ultimately, this is looking to be a good game as a Wall Rain now comes in. And now they're going to be forced to potentially shield. They're actually going to let this go. It is just going to be the Icicle Spear, a good amount of neutral damage, but you can survive. And now Earthquake is going to be coming through. And if this lands, this is going to set up the Galarian Wheezing to potentially take it out, as they do decide to counter swap now into Wheezing right here. And Charizard is going to have a very tough time closing this game out. They're going to go ahead and shield the potential Earthquake, and it is beautiful. This is now going to allow them to overload on energy. That way they have Brutal Swing ready to go for Charizard on the back end. But Charizard needs to land. Let's look at this. It needs to land a lot. It needs to land a lot. Blast Burn is not even going to be enough to KO the Wheezing right here, as it can survive, which means they're going to have to throw... They could throw a Dragon Claw. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and throw a Dragon Claw, and they're going to let this go. Unfortunately, not able to throw a charge move from the Galarian Wheeze. Oh, it survived! My goodness, hanging on right there with 1 HP in a dream, as Brutal Swing does land, but now Shadow Swampert. This is going to be a very close battle. Charizard versus Swampert. Wing Attack versus Mudshot. Oh, and they went for the Blast Burn! I thought for sure that was going to be a Dragon Claw. This, I think, just sealed the fate now for Charizard, as Swampert has access to 2 Hydro Cannons, I believe? No, it doesn't! It was close. I was looking at the energy. I'm like, I think it has it. It didn't. Dragon Claw now takes it out, and that is going to be a good game. Charizard, what a strong Pokemon. I mean, it's always... It has always been good. It just needed that little bit of extra energy gain, which it got with Wing Attack. All right, we got a Cobalion on the lead. Talk about an overheat opportunity right here. Coming out the gates with a potential boom. Definitely going to be forcing a shield. No, it just lands! And they counter swap now into Swampert to catch the charge move. And it is going to be the Stone Edge, which is going to be resisted. Huge catch right there, as we see a counter swap into the shiny Cresselia. Now, Swampert in this situation obviously needs to watch out for Grass Knot. But if you decide to invest 1 shield, you could get this Cresselia low enough. No, they're just going to let it go. All right, it is going to be the... Boom, see ya, Swampert. Get out of here. I was setting you up for a game theory right there, but ultimately, it's not going to happen. Now, here comes the Brutal Swing. We've seen this before. It's not enough to KO, but the mind games of Future Sight or not are real. And he's going to call it that it's not going to be a Future Sight. Oh, it is just a Moonblast. That's a good call. Now they can really overload on energy, because Grass Knot and Moonblast are not enough to KO. So here comes the Brutal Swing now to try to take out Cresselia. And they might just force a shield. They do. You got to think about the fact that their lead Pokemon has basically no HP left. So they have to invest shield somewhere. And they're investing 2 into Cresselia. Man, they must be weak in the back. Oh my goodness. Here comes the Moonblast. And now we'll probably see a swap. Yeah, okay. You see it all day long. A swap back into Cobalion now to catch the Brutal Swing right here. That's a good swap by the opponent, but ultimately a counter swap now into Jellicent to force a checkmate, as we don't know what that final Pokemon is, but it's extremely weak to Jellicent, as Cresselia now tries desperately to land a Grass Knot. And ultimately, the Jellicent here is just going to farm down. They can safely shield this next charge move. And what is it in the back? that is weak to both Wheeze. It's got to be a Giratina altered. No, it's a Walrein. Okay. Very interesting right here. All right, Shadow Ball. Oh, it doesn't do as much damage as I thought it was going to right there. Come on, Jellicent, turn up the heat. We're going to go ahead and see another one land. It's going to take 3. And Walrein, I don't think it can still win this. It has to land an Earthquake, and now they're going to be forced to throw... Oh, no, I think Zare just might have thrown it. Oh, no! Icicle Spear into Earthquake? No, they get to the Surf in time. Okay. I thought it was going to be a lot closer right there. I forgot how much energy Jellicent had. But that's going to be a good game. All right. What a fun set of battles right there. I think that was the final one. Yeah, that looks to be, that was the final one. What a fun team right there. Galarian Weezing, Jellicent, and Shadow Swampert. So shout out to Zerfelros. Link to his channel down in the description. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. So like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.